Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Lunchtime. I am Noah Hiles. He is
John Boziker. Are we doing a drive-thru again today?
We are. Oh, if you want to go to a drive-thru, I don't have my wallet. I'll hit you on the Venmo. I was just thinking we just drive around.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drive around.
All right, just drive around. So we did the drive-thru episode on Friday, and we got great reviews from it. And so we are continuing to do that today with the letter. I am just so worried this tripod's gonna fall off your dashboard. It's staying strong right now. It's holding firm, baby. Let's go. We need some stability.
First big chuckle that I hit.
Yes.
It's gonna go.
So we are doing the letter G today, after letter F. John, first off, how was your weekend, friend?
Good.
Yes?
Good. It was good. I mean, just trying to get through the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes. Do anything?
No. I literally did nothing. I did nothing.
I'm trying to think what I did.
I worked Saturday.
I watched Us by Jordan Peele, that movie.
Oh, I've heard that's really good.
Good movie. I watched that. Oh, there it goes. We got it. All right, handheld. All right, we're back.
Technical
difficulties. Anyway, we're resuming with the letter G now.
Oh, something I did want to mention from the weekend. Hail on...
Yeah, that was wild.
On Saturday.
Yes.
Literally golf ball size hail.
Yeah.
In my backyard.
I saw that. That was pretty nuts. We didn't get any hail here. It was just some strong rain on Saturday. But I'm trying to think I went out and threw baseball with the roommate on Sunday.
Ooh.
That was fun.
Look at you.
And then I picked up Guitar Hero, which
that's the old days right there.
Yes, and I'm performing concerts every day at 9 o'clock on my Instagram. On Instagram Live. My rock star name is Roger Slay.
Isn't it amazing what we've done with life since this?
Yeah. You could call it amazing. I call it depressing. Nonetheless. All right, letter G. I'll go first. Person, place, and thing. Letter G. My person is George Lucas. For those who do not know who George Lucas is, George Lucas, perhaps one of the best filmmakers of all time, invented Star Wars. He wrote it, produced it, directed it, and Disney now owns the rights to it. But because of his creation, this man is worth $6.1 billion. Something people don't know about George Lucas is he had a career before Star Wars. He directed a movie called American Graffiti.
Great movie. Have you ever seen it?
I have not, but it was nominated for multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
It's basically like a look back at the 50s, like life in the 50s, and it's interesting because a lot of really famous actors were in it, like
Harrison Ford, Richard
Ford.
Dreyfuss.
Yeah, that's honestly, if you've not seen that movie, Wolfman Jack was the DJ in that too, the radio DJ. He was like a really famous DJ at the time, so great movie. You need to see it. Okay, well, yeah, that's a George Lucas film, and then other George Lucas films he co-produced and co-wrote the Indiana Jones series with Steven Spielberg. So everybody loves those. Yes,
and I mean George Lucas, for me, Star Wars was a huge part of my childhood growing up. My dad loved the movies. He had, I don't think they were his action figures because I think it was like his younger brothers, but like he had like saved them for me, the original like Star Wars action figures from the 70s, which is pretty cool, and I still have those. And then I had all my own. I still am a huge Star Wars fan. I own every single one of the movies. I see them all in theaters multiple times.
You have your R2-D2
thermos. Yeah, I take it into the office every day.
Take that bad boy around everywhere.
Yes, I'm a big Star Wars guy. John, I have George Lucas. Who do you have?
George Carlin.
Wow.
The man responsible for one of the funniest, I would say, one of the most iconic comedic sketches of all time.
12 words you can't say on the radio.
7 words.
7 words, yes.
He was a stand-up comedian, obviously, for those that don't know. Mm-hmm. Really hit his stride probably in the 70s through the 80s and kind of tailed off a little bit after that. But his 7 words that you couldn't say on the air, we won't say them on the air right now.
We sure won't.
But because of that, there was like a landmark case in the Supreme Court that was to deal with that, like the FCC versus somebody in the Supreme Court in the 1970s, and he basically was instrumental into why that happened. And he started his career like way back in like the 50s and 60s. He used to do these funny like weekend update type skits on this other show. I can't remember what it was called, but he would like basically make up sports scores. That's like how he got his start. And he's really, really funny. If you haven't seen him, you need to be older than like 17 to watch him. But, you know, great comedian. Honestly, I think one of the most instrumental comedians of the last 100 years, to say so. There were 2 police officers back there. Something's going on right now.
We'll have more on that in the news.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But George Carlin, as I said, great comedian, fantastic stand-up artist, and I only wish I could have seen him. Yeah,
I mean, he's someone that if you'll hear a lot of comedians today say he was one of their big inspirations. Like I grew up, I don't know about you, I was a big Bo Burnham fan growing up.
I know of Bo Burnham.
Okay, well he there was a lot of other comedians, like a guy, you know, no one's really a fan of anymore, Louis C.K. But at one point in time, Louis C.K. had a lot of fans and was considered very talented. I mean, you could still say he had a great stand-up act. It's just, he's a bad person. Nonetheless, he was inspired by George Carlin as well.
Man, his career took a nosedive real fast.
Yeah. Yep. All right, moving forward. Place. John, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm choosing the great state of Georgia.
Ooh.
As my place. I've never been there, but there's...
You've never been through Georgia?
I haven't. I've been through Alabama. I've been through Mississippi.
Have you been to Florida?
I haven't.
Really?
Never been to Florida, no.
Huh.
So Georgia, really, a lot of really cool things in Georgia. I mean, obviously, Atlanta is a great big city in this world that...
a hotbed of culture.
It really is. Mm-hmm. You've used it before on episodes of Lunchtime. But obviously you have the Coca-Cola plant, I believe, that's there. Yes. You have CNN that's located there. You have Augusta, which is where probably the greatest golf tournament in the world takes place once every year. Maybe not this year. But it does take place there. And then just, as you said, the culture of Georgia, the Georgia peaches, if you will. There's so many things about it that, you know, it's a very homey sounding state. And it's a place that I do want to go to. I want to go to Augusta, have a pimento cheese sandwich, the famed thing of the Masters, and then afterwards I want to go out for a nice Coca-Cola and a piece of peach cobbler.
Yeah.
Doing it the true Georgia way.
And then go to an Atlanta Braves game and do the tomahawk chant.
And no, not that.
All right.
Plus, they do have great sports teams there too. Like lots of...
Actually, as a Cleveland fan, John, you should be able to relate to Georgia, to Atlanta sports teams.
Oh, I can.
As far as heartbreak goes, if you consider the biggest...
The Braves, the Falcons...
The Braves had those great teams, only one World Series, and it came against Cleveland, of course. But, I mean, they've lost, I think, they lost 2 to the Yankees, I believe, and then they lost to the Blue Jays, I think, and the Twins. So, yeah, 4 World Series losses just in the 90s and early 2000s with that team. I know we weren't talking about sports, but forget that rule. The Atlanta Falcons blew the biggest Super Bowl lead of all time.
28-3.
The Atlanta Hawks had that incredible team in 2015, and they just got swept by Delhi and LeBron and Kyrie on one leg for a couple games.
They did. And not just that, but they also had, for a while in the 80s, they had the human highlight reel and Dominique Wilkins.
Yes.
And the East was so good at that time that, like, they were, like, the 5th best team in the East.
Yeah, and they had the Atlanta Thrashers, and then they just up and left. So, yeah, not great.
Depression in Atlanta.
Yeah, very...
But there's a great TV show based about Atlanta now.
Yes, there is.
Donald Glover.
Okay, my place, a little bit less known, but I think it's cool. It's Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana. First off, it's named after Albert Henry Gary, who is the founding chairman of the U.S. Steel Corporation. And it is a big steel town, as someone who grew up in a steel town. And we both grew up in the Rust Belt. You relate to a place like this that was a hotbed. At one point in time, it was the 2nd biggest city in Indianapolis. It's now just inside the top 10 because, like these Rust Belt cities they have trouble recuperating after, you know, the steel mill is closed down. We're going to find out. I don't know if we are able to do this. I think we're good. We're not getting looks.
They have 30th Street stall types of...
They sure do. Look at all that.
All types of messed up
Oof,
today.
maloof. All right, most notably from Gary, Indiana, of course, is the birthplace of the Jackson 5, of the Jackson family. That's where Michael, Tito, Jermaine, Janet, Marlon. Who am I forgetting?
Did you say Janet?
I did, but she wasn't even in the Jackson 5. She was in the Jacksons, which was the same thing. But Jesse? Was he in the Jackson 5? I don't know. Nonetheless.
Plus, a great song in the movie, or in the musical, The Music Man. Gary, Indiana.
That's what you were singing, yes.
Yeah, it's one of the key songs of that, and it was originally, oh my God.
John.
That guy came out of nowhere.
Oh my.
It was originally sung in the, well, not originally, but in the movie version of The Music Man with Robert Preston. It's sung by Ron Howard as a very young actor in that movie. I don't know if have you ever seen The Music Man?
I'm not a big musical guy.
Another movie musical that you need to say.
All right. Well, other notable people from Gary, Indiana include Tom Harmon. He was the 1940 Heisman Trophy winner.
Old 98.
Yes. Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do know who that is then.
Michigan's finest.
Yes. And then Lloyd McClendon, former Pittsburgh Pirate, Seattle Mariner manager. You know what he's most known for, John?
No.
He got ejected once and stole first base. Just picked it up out of the
I've heard
ground.
about that.
Yes, and simply took it with him.
Okay.
So
I can get behind
yeah,
that.
Lloyd McClendon. Also, he played in the Little League World Series as a kid. 5 home runs in a game in the Little League World Series.
My name is Big Al.
Yeah, he was the OG Big Al. All right, so that is my place. My thing. I will round out my thing saying, my thing for the letter G is guitars. Guitars are, I'll just go out and say it, guitar is the coolest instrument, bar none. I think you could debate piano, but guitar, it's just, you look so cool, just revving it up on a guitar. I wish I could play guitar. I know how to play Smoke on the Water, Iron Man, and Taps. Those are my 3 songs. John, you know how to play guitar?
I know how to play Smoke on the Water. I can play the piano, though. I did take like 10 years of piano
lessons. I can play 0 instruments. I played the trumpet in 5th grade.
I played trombone in middle school, too.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, I
Aside from that,
guitar it's a cool instrument, and I think, unlike any other instrument, I mean, you can make arguments on how things sound, the way they're played, or whatever, but I think guitar is the biggest indicator of, it like tells how music has evolved. You know, you can listen to a song and how guitar is played in the 50s compared to how it's played in the 60s, how it's played in the 70s and the 80s, and even how guitars look. You think of, you know, like what Chuck Berry was playing, and you compare that to what like hair metal bands were playing, and
hey, Chuck, you know that new sound you looking for?
I got it.
Listen to this. Back to the Future.
Your kids are gonna love it. Yeah, so guitar, I think guitar's coolest instrument, and they define eras of music.
I need gas.
John, better go get that gas.
My thing is golf.
Golf.
I golfed in high school. I was on the greatest golf team in Akron history.
Firestone, baby.
That FHS. Shout out to my boys at Firestone.
Hey, Big Sam.
No, I mean, just it's such a great sport, and I think the great thing about golf is that it's the only sport that most people will never win at. Like, in terms of that you're playing the course, like, to say that you've won a couple times, which I've shot under par, but, like, to say that you've done that is, like, such a high accomplishment. The average golfer shoots 100, so if you shoot below 100, like, damn, you're an above average golfer, which doesn't say a whole lot, but it really does. Plus, it's just a great thing that you can do late in your life. Like, you can be 10 and play golf, and you can be 85 and play golf, and as long as you have legs and arms that work still at that age, it's a sport that you can play for years. Plus, I love watching the majors throughout the year and just keeping track. My dad and I do fantasy golf, which not a lot of people do, but we do it, and it's kind of on hiatus right now, but great sport. Just don't like its origin of being gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've kind of pushed past that part of golf.
Absolutely.
But just a great sport. Really great sport that I love and that a lot of people love.
Yeah, I don't have anything against golf. I too like to golf, and it's you talked about the age thing. It's also, it's something that you can suck at and still have a really fun time doing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like it's not fun to play basketball when you can't dribble.
No.
You know, it's not fun to play hockey when you can't skate.
No.
But it's fun to play golf even if, I mean, you got to be semi-competent. You know, you have to be able to hit the ball off of a tee. You know, you're not going to have fun if you can't do that. But overall, I mean, yeah, golf is a game that you, like you said, you can play it with anyone, any age. It just takes practice. No one's great at it, really.
I want to do a lunchtime one day, a celebrity lunchtime. We're going to get our boy Elmer Sheets onto an episode. We're going to go golfing. Elmer, myself, Noah, and Bob, the TV crew.
Yes.
We're going to go golfing. Just wait and see until Elmer.
We're gonna need a dump button if we take Elmer. Little expletive.
You know what that is?
You little poop.
Elmer, my boy.
Absolutely. All right. Well, John, another great show. We're heading back to my apartment. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe. Keep sanitizing your hands. Stay inside, and keep tuning in to lunchtime.